Hello, I'm Joe Leonard, CTO and Vice President of Security Strategy at GuidePoint Security. In this HelpNet Security video, I'll be talking about how the CIO's relationship to IT security is changing. The role of the CIO is becoming more challenging and complex. There are many challenges facing the CIO today. The world has evolved from a centralized to a decentralized environment. Cloud adoption has played a significant role in the acceleration of a decentralized environment. Many of our employees are working remote, and many of the organizations that I've talked to, they may be returning to the office maybe 1 day, 2 day, but there hasn't been many organizations where I've seen that they're going back fully to the office. There are some, but there are not many. Finding and retaining talent has become a challenge. Many of the organizations that I talk to are having a very difficult time finding the talent that they need and retaining talent because other organizations are hiring people away. The hybrid workforce has introduced new technology challenges. With employees working remote, new technology is needed to basically improve efficiency within and collaboration within the organization. This has also led to expanding security challenges. All of these devices that are remote, all this new technology that's remote, ensuring that you have the proper security to protect intellectual property and customer data is top of mind. Supply chain shortages is something that is now top of mind for all organizations. We've all witnessed during COVID supply chain shortages. These have had definite impact to organizations, causing loss in revenue. Many of the organizations I talked to had multiple vendors. They never expected both vendors to go out of business, at the same time. So they're now going back and reevaluating, do they have enough vendors in a time of a crisis? And that's definitely become more top of mind. The distributed workforce and workplace flexibility have added more responsibility to the CIO. The distributed workforce has added more complexity. Before everything was internal, you're thinking about internal, protecting internal. Now you're having to issue laptops so employees can work from home. You're also running into challenges. Maybe your employees are having bandwidth issues as they're connecting. Your team might be troubleshooting those home issues, which adds more complexity and more responsibility for the organization. There may be new technology that's needed to help improve the productivity and the collaboration of the team so that they can work together better. You also have to ensure that you have the necessary security controls on all these new devices that are remote so they can protect that intellectual property and all that customer sensitive data. In addition, some of the challenges that are coming up or responsibilities, you got this distributed workforce, and it's making it a challenge to retain your employees. How do you retain employees when you have this great competition where all these organizations are going out, they're putting job descriptions online saying work remote accepted. So it's making it very attractive for organizations to hire people. And at the same time, and it's making it very hard to retain employees because a lot of employees are jumping from companies as they're getting significant increases to make some of these changes. The CIO's relation to IT security is changing. If you look at our landscape, cloud adoption is accelerated, IoT is accelerated. We're working remotely and as a remote workforce. That entire landscape has changed. You're really going to have the CIO and the IT security team collaborating, working on, hey, what is our security strategy? How do we protect our organization? Security is utmost importance to the organization. And I envision that going forward, the CIO and the IT security team will work more and more closely together to ensure they're providing proper security controls to protect the organization. There's also special training the CIO should consider. You figure your organization has went from a centralized to a decentralized environment. You need to perform a skills gap assessment of the team that I currently have. do they have the skills for this new environment? Is there any specialized training that I'm going to require that I didn't require before? An example could be maybe cloud. You may need specialized training for that. Other things is going out and consideration, going to some of these industry events and staying on top of the new technology and understanding how this new technology enables the business. Looking at some of that and looking at, how it also improves the overall efficiency of the organization. Also, just working with HR to attract, retain, and grow employees is going to be so important, right? And training the team, part of that should be training the team and making sure that you've got a plan in place and helping employees to be able to grow in the organization is so top of mind, right? And as you go out, one of the things is looking at, there's many training resource organizations that should start offering their CIOs, and what are they, right? As you go out there, you start to look at, it's going to be different for every organization, right? Some training resources, they're going to vary depending on the gap. So as you do your analysis in your organization, everyone's going to have different gaps. So really trying to understand where your gaps are, that's going to lead to your plan of what training you need. But some of the common training resources you could go out to look at, example would be company specific training, making sure that you're actually following some of the training, like maybe security awareness training would be one of them that, especially now that you have so many people working remotely, training them on, remote doing phishing attacks and things like that, right? Going to industry conferences and meeting and listening to industry experts talk about, the changes that we're all experiencing, going to decentralized environments, and then also meeting with your peers and talking to them about the challenges they're having, seeing if it's the same challenges you have, and understanding, hey, what did you do? What did you do to remedy that, right? Also going to industries like certifications, going out and meeting with some of these organizations as well, talking about some of the things that they're doing. Also, it's a good way of meeting with your peers and talking about same thing, some of the challenges they face. You can never get enough time being able to do that. And then the final thing is really looking at, as you select security controls in your environment, you're going to have vendor specialized training that's going to be required. Looking at those, that training and understanding the manageability that's going to be required to manage your environment. The CIO's role is becoming more challenging and complex, and navigating the cyber battlefield is going to require collaboration with IT. And a comprehensive training program is going to be needed to ensure organization success. I envision going forward, the CIO and the IT security teams will be working very close together and collaborating on how they protect everyone's organizations.